The focus of this video will be the Submittals module in VPO and how you can go about setting up your submittal log, editing the submittal items, and processing the submittals throughout the life cycle of each item. If we scroll up to the project workflows, we'll find the Submittals module at the bottom of the drop-down list. So click on that. And again, here are all your views, so you can see which items so far are in whose court. But if you go over to the ellipsis here, you can click on all submittals, and this list here, or this view here, will show you every single submittal that has been added or updated throughout your current project. So what we want to start out by doing is, when you start your project, at the very beginning you're going to have to start creating your submittals log. So by doing that, you're going to get into the submittals module and you're going to click on new task, and similar to every other module, you're going to start filling out the information for whichever item you're currently adding to your list. So the line item field will automatically generate as you start adding new submittals, so you don't have to worry about this one. If you scroll over to the specification section, you're going to have a drop-down list of general conditions, technical specifications, special provisions, etc. So go ahead and click on the special provisions or general conditions depending on which section you'll find each item in. Scroll down to the submittal package. This is the submittal section that you'll find the submittal item in. And tab over to the submittal number. Here you'll enter the submittal package plus the individual section within that package that you'll find this item. Give a task name, which would basically be the title of the submittal. The submittal type. You can do product data. This one would be the work plan. The submittal date, this would be the date which you expect the submittal to be submitted around. We'll just use today. The planned start date, again, once you receive some kind of baseline schedule or prelim schedule from the contractor, you can start entering the planned start dates. We'll just use today. And then the review cycle, since the contractor has not given it to us yet, this will remain unsubmitted. Again, we're just developing a submittal log right now for the contractor to use when he starts submitting the items we're looking for. Right now, the ball in court would be the contractor. And since this is again just a submittal log, we can just save this item. So since this is a test, we're actually going to leave the ball in court blank, so Sukit's not getting an email notification they have another earthwork plan to submit. So we'll save this. So we're still under all submittals here. If we scroll down to our 2D 1.2.7 section, we'll see our test submittal right here. So that's the general idea of how you go about adding new items to your submittal log. So when the contractor's ready to submit an item, he'll go to project workflows, drop down to submittals. He can get into his submittal log and start looking for the item that he wants to submit. We'll scroll down to the test submittal we just generated. So we got our test here. And when the contractor is ready, he can go to edit item. he already has the general information filled out for him by us, but at this point he would start the review cycle by clicking Initial Submittal. He would certify that he's read this statement and he agrees with it. Click on the phase. You can put any comments. He would put who submitted it, being himself and the contractor. He would put the ball in court to Simplus. He would sign, the submitter would sign by checking the box here. And again, he can browse for any attachments that he might need to include. So this is what the earthwork. So he can upload that. And make sure you upload it, otherwise it's not going to get attached to the submittal item itself. Again, he can CC any of his team or anyone else on Simplus team or county or anybody he feels should be involved with the review cycle. And then he would click Save. Once the contractor has submitted an item and placed the ball in your court, you will get an email notification similar to this one, stating all the details within the email. Initial submittal. You'll see the stuff that has changed. It'll be crossed out in gray, and then the new information that has been uploaded by the contractor will be in black. So this is letting us know that we have a earthwork plan submittal that is now in our court. So we can either click on this link to take us to that item, or we can just get back into our web browser in VPO if we have it open. So knowing that we now have an item in our court, you can scroll down to My Tasks and that item should appear there. That's one way you will know. The other way, like I said, was the email notification. Either way, you'll get into your Submittals tab. You'll see the default view is Active Submittals by Ball and Court. So now we have this submittal item in our court. We can click on it to get into it. We'll click the edit item so we can start both reviewing the attachment and making sure everything's entered correctly. Go to our discussions. Go to the review. This item will now be in review so that the contractor cannot see any comments or anything going back between us and the engineer. We can place the ball in court to the engineer. And again, this is the attachment we'll be reviewing for that high level detail, not necessarily the specifics of what the contractor will be reviewing, but more so that it's the correct submittal section, the higher details, all meet specifications, things like that. So once we've read that, we can get out of it. Again, we can CC anybody we want, and then we will click Save and wait for the engineer to perform their review and return it to us. Once the engineer has reviewed the submittal, we will get another email notification similar to this one, stating that it's now been assigned to me from Cole Duncan over at SWT. Again, we can either click on this, it'll take us to the submittal, or we can just get back into VPO. So Scroll up to project workflows, get into your submittals. Again, active submittals by ball and court will show the submittal under us. You can start editing the item. So if we click on the review tab, we'll see that the engineer has put their comments here. They still have the item in review in case we want to add anything to it. So again, the contractor is still unable to see any of these comments in here until this item has changed the status. So we know that it's NET from SWT's comment. Cole Duncan reviewed it. Go up to our discussions. Update your discussions tab for the weekly minutes. Again, review everything under the review tab to make sure everything's correct. We can CC anybody that we would like. If SWT did have any comments on here, they could upload their own attachments for Submittals files or anything like that. We'll change the ball and court now to Submittals and click save. Once you've clicked save, it'll take you back to the active ball in court view, and you'll see that that earthworks submittal that we've just been working on is no longer in our court, nor is it in Submittals court because it's been approved. And that now concludes the submittal training video.